So in this video, we're going to be discussing Aurora's Q1's earnings report and how it's not that great, but we'll discuss it in this video. So anyways, right now, Aurora stock seems like pump and dump. It got pumped up by hype. I don't know why it got pumped up in the first place. Maybe because of Biden winning and that. I really think it's, has to do with big money. They basically pumped a lot of money into Aurora, causing day traders and retail investors to buy in, and it caused short sellers to cover, and it caused a big skyrocket in their stock. And then as soon as it hit a certain point and banks come out and downgrade the stock, massive sell-off, massive profit taking, and now it's sitting at $8.32. I don't know what the stock's gonna do, but in my opinion, this is my opinion only, it's probably gonna trade sideways for a while, and then I think eventually it'll probably go back down to $4. When? I don't know, but that's what I think is going to happen. I could totally be wrong. This is just me speculating. But that's what I believe. I believe eventually we will see Aurora go back down to $4, maybe even lower. Maybe we'll see Aurora go all the way down to $3 or $2.50. I don't know at the end of the day what the stock's gonna do, but all I hope is Aurora diluted shareholders use that pump to dilute shareholders at a more attractive price point. I'm hoping Aurora managed to dilute shareholders around $9 to $11 US. That's my hope. I don't know if that actually happened, but ultimately we won't know until the next earnings report when they announce more dilution. But moving forward, I do believe Aurora is going to have to continue to dilute. Aurora did have a higher market cap than Aurora for a little bit there. They had almost a $2 billion market cap. That would have been a perfect position to short, because it just literally lost almost $700 million of market cap in a day or a couple days. And I still think that the stock will head down lower, but short term I think it'll probably bounce back up again. We'll see what happens. This is the weekend video, so there's still the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of trading, so we'll see what happens. On the Canadian side, Aurora is valued at $1.75 billion, which is quite a bit of money in my opinion. That is quite a high valuation regardless, but that's what the market values Aurora at. I mean, if the price goes down, then Aurora will be valued less, but this is just my opinion. We'll see what happens. So let's look at Aurora. Aurora announces fiscal first quarter 2021 results. Adjusted gross margins of 48 to 52%, which is not great, because they used to have over 60%. Now their gross margin has gone down to about 48 to 52%. I think that 48 to 52% will be a strong support for their gross margin. I don't think it'll go any lower than that, but who knows at the end of the day. It could go lower depending on competition. If people keep lowering their prices, Aurora is gonna have to force to lower their prices to sell their products, and which will reduce their margins even further. And if we scroll down further, what I find very concerning with the earnings report is further down. Hold on, right here. So they had $162 million of opening cash. They spent $25 million on settlement and contract termination fee. This is probably going to disappear next quarter. Working capital change, this will probably go down. Legal settlement, this is probably the contract with UFC. That will probably lower down to $7 million. Capital expenditures, I don't know if that'll be lower. Debt and interest payments, this will probably stay the same. So next quarter, the cash use will be roughly $100 million. $100 million, but because they don't have to pay this, and maybe the settlement and contract termination fees will go down to maybe like $5 million. So $5 million plus, 40 million, I would say, they would reduce it to $100 million cash use next quarter, maybe a little less, maybe $90 million, but they have cash of $133 million. That means that next quarter, if they don't dilute shareholders, they would have roughly $30 million, or maybe a little bit more, like $40 million of cash. If they don't dilute shareholders, they just diluted shareholders $114 million. If they didn't dilute shareholders, they would have cash probably like way lower than this, like $22 million. If they didn't dilute shareholders for $114 million cash proceed raises through at the market, they would have $23 million of cash, and they will need to continue to dilute shareholders. Eventually the dilution will end, but for short term they will have to continue to dilute shareholders because they need the money, else they will go bankrupt. So this is very concerning to me, that their cash position is very low, and the fact that the expenses are still pretty high. I'm assuming it will be reduced to around $100 million of cash use for next quarter. And they say they're going to be profitable next quarter, but nothing is guaranteed. They don't know for sure if they will be profitable. It all depends on sales, right? Like if they can sell, then it will. But the revenues decrease quarter over quarter, and this is concerning, especially since the Canadian market is growing and Aurora is not growing their revenue, which is very, very concerning. The medical is almost as much as the consumer, which is not a good sign at all. So, doesn't look very good to me. Their net sale of dry is 372, which is a little bit of an improvement. Do they have anything for how much it costs per gram to grow? They took that away, didn't they? Interesting. Yeah, they took that away. They don't have the cost to grow in this earnings report. Let me just skim through this real quick. I didn't really see that. They didn't include it into this earnings report where how much it cost them to grow. Yep, nope, they took it away. Unless I'm blind, they took it away. They're not showing you how much the cost to produce is. But it doesn't matter. It's all about the gross margins at the end of the day. Now let's look at the real earnings report. So $133 million, account receivable 74, total assets of $430 million. They didn't do any goodwill write-downs or intangible asset write-down from the previous quarter, which is a concern because they might do that next quarter. So we'll see when they will, but I'm expecting more write-downs in goodwill and intangible assets. That's what I expect, but we'll see what happens. Total liabilities is still pretty high at $603 million. They still have huge convertible notes to pay off, loans and borrowings of $80 million. Yeah, so their current liabilities of $229 million. So that's kind of concerning because their current liabilities is more than their cash position, which is roughly $200 million right now. So their sales was $67.812 million. Cost to sale was 43. Their gross profit was $24.5 million. This is not good. $24.5 million. How are they going to be profitable next quarter? Like how? Like $25 million of gross profit, and the expenses is, 29, 15, 25, 15, 35, 45, 60. So even if they reduce it down to $40 million, their gross profit has to increase. Their revenue has to increase dramatically next quarter for them to flip a profit. Else they will continue to lose money. They say they're going to be profitable next quarter, but just looking at the gross profit, $25 million, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign at all. That just shows you that they're probably not going to be profitable next quarter. When will they be profitable? No idea. No idea. It's just, the financials don't look good at all. At all. I would not recommend anyone buying this stock for the long term. I mean, if you were to say pump and dump, sure. Like if you see a pump, you might buy into that type and then sell out right away. But this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion. So, you guys can do whatever you want. If you think that Aurora can turn that around the story, then you can go ahead and buy. It's up to you at the end of the day what you want to do. But the financials don't look good at all, and I really do expect the stock price to go back down to $4 or lower in the near future here, but that's just my opinion. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for future updates and have a great day. Bye.